Welcome everyone, it's Harry the Soul Coach and I'm back again to do another video, and this time it's to tell if AI has written the work or if you're just losing your voice. So I've now been working with AI for a number of months and it's been very interesting to see what you can actually do when it comes to AI, and it's brilliant. There's so many ways that we can use it to enhance our life, to be more efficient, to save time. And on the flip side, it's very easy to get lost in AI, to get reliant, to get dependent on it. And sometimes it takes over. And after a few months, I started looking around on my social media and I saw clearly when people would use AI now to write the captions, or I've now signed up to Substack and reading certain posts, I can tell that's AI generated. And then someone sent me a message and I was reading it and it wasn't them at all. So I asked my AI to go through and say, has AI written this? Because there's so many phrases in here that I've never actually heard of before, I've never seen before. And I know for a fact that that person doesn't use these phrases. And it was really interesting what come back. And I only put that through out of interest because I spotted it all. And I was more curious then to start seeing, how does my work actually sound now? Because I've been scanning in a lot of my writings and a lot of stuff from my journal. And a lot of that is kind of scribbles. So certain things do not make complete sense. And you need something like AI as a tool to put it into a format that reads well, the punctuation, to proofread it. And in that process, it adds in words and phrases and suggestions. And there's certain things I just do not like. So I was then curious, can people see if that's me? And the whole point of using AI is to help improve the process whilst keeping you. And then I started getting worried. My ego was creeping in that I've done some posts and ideas and I've created certain articles to release where it is my idea, it's my creation, it's very creative. And then it looked even better after AI turned it into something where I was like, yeah, that's really good. People will resonate with that. And then my ego creeped in. It's like, are people just thinking that's just AI? That's not even his idea. And this is where I feel like creators and writers and stuff are maybe a bit put off. And as I mentioned before, this is a transition period at the moment. This is like the early adaptations to this new technology. Just like if you was in the early days of cryptocurrency, it's all new and you're going to get a lot of critics, AI especially. It's so dangerous. I wouldn't go near it. So you're going to get a lot of critics when it comes to work. So I was really intrigued. So when this message come through, I sent it, has AI wrote this? Because I listed certain phrases and I said, that's definitely not them. And what come back was a feedback panel and said, you're right. It doesn't sound like them. It sounds like they're trying to be spiritual in a templated, smoothed, out of way. And it said 70 to 90% of this will be AI. So that was interesting, because then if it's 70 to 90% AI, to have it created, there must have been a conversation dialogue before, which means it filters out the voice so much. And I then started doing it on my work and sending it into AI. Does this sound like me? Is this authentic? And because I'm very aware of my words and I'm very true to my word, a lot of my teachings talk about the use of words. And if you look at my writing, I rarely use apostrophes at all unless I'm explaining the process. A lot of my words, I'd say at least 90% of them are positive words. And I rephrase certain structures within sentences, always finish on the positive if I mention the negative. And it comes back to the spiritual aspect of everything that I put out there. So I know that my work is still unique, but it was still that worry, is it coming across that way? So I started playing around with different feedback, and I even started exploring some of the other AI platforms. I've been using ChatGPT, but you've also got Meta, you got Gemini, you got Claude, you've got DeepSeek, and you've got Grok. So I then sent my work with some questions to them and get them to answer it too. And what's nice is throughout the different platforms, they all give you slightly different feedback, but the feedback is the most important part. So this video is not about, are they doing AI? Is that AI work from other people, which you can do. This is about turning inwards then. Does this actually sound like my work? Is AI taking over the show? So I've created a scorecard, and this is to help people hear your voice again. So I've got 5 questions, and I've even given it a scorecard category as well. So this will be shared on the screen now. And ask yourself, does this sound like someone with lived experience? It's experience which is the soul. You learn better from people that have actually been through it, done it themselves. They've got a story to tell. They share the lessons rather than someone who's just reading off a PDF that's heard it from someone else, that's been taught from someone else. You can tell the difference. So does this sound like someone with lived experience? Are these my words or borrowed phrases? Does it have edges or did AI smooth it over? Do I feel something or is it a performing emotion? Would I say this out loud to someone I love? And I've given it a scorecard category that looks at the soul voice, the unique language, avoids AI polish, emotional depth, and then the human goodbye. So that's the sign off. At least the sign off above anything else. Make that part personal if you are just going to use AI for everything. And you're seeing all the people, how can I make AI more human? So this is not about, like I said, spotting it in others. It's about noticing how you are using it. Because what it does, it brings awareness. Most people then ask, make this sound more human. Well, what I've noticed, people don't know what human actually is, or they're unaware of how they speak. They're unaware of the phrases that they actually do use. So by bringing awareness to this now, it allows you to go through your day and notice. Because there's certain things, that's your saying. That's the way that you would word it. Then there's certain times where when you speak, you do not even pronounce your words properly. When you're doing a conversation and you're brain dumping on AI, it's all messy. So AI won't be able to pick up the real you, and it's going to have to change it anyway. So it starts making you better. So this scorecard, like I said, it's not about perfection. It's about breaking and being in awareness of patterns. And as soon as you start doing that, you'll see that the work that you're now creating with AI changes. And what I love about testing with AI is I can now go back to my old work, and then I can get my current work and I say, can you do the comparison using this feedback? I'll then put it through all the other AI platforms just to see. And I've got different testing conditions. So every time you create something, you can then use that scorecard with the 5 questions. Pull up your last bit of work that was AI assisted and then read through it. But read through it with the perspective, where does it feel like you? Like you know what parts are you? And then where did it go off, like into a template? When it goes into these phrases that they are AI. Before I didn't realize it was AI. But they're AI words with remembrance. Love saying that one. When it lands, it's like this spiritual jargon, but even in the spiritual world, you rarely hear this. However, when you start looking now at the spiritual world, it's all being put in there. So as AI enhances, the most important thing is that we start enhancing too, because it will start coming back to authenticity. The key part to all this is being yourself. And that's what's going to get noticed at later dates of how people actually use AI to create. So in my last video, I mentioned my concept, the soul fingerprint. So when I ever do work now and I put in my text, I ask AI to reflect me, to give it my soul fingerprint, and it will write in my style. And even now I have to still keep going in and adjusting things because the memory is not great on AI, and it forgets certain conversations, certain instructions. There's people out there now doing videos of how to make AI sound more human, and they give you all these prompts. Don't do this, don't say that, stop doing this, less jargon, less this. And the problem with that, it still doesn't take into factor the soul, the actual essence of the work. And it's just like going into an organization and the boss says, don't do this, stop doing that. And they turn you into robots. So rather than focusing on training the machine, which a lot of people and trying to, you just get caught up in this loop and you get even more frustrated. Make it a lot easier. Focus on the way that you deliver your message, how you write your words, and focus on that bit first, because the reflection's a lot easier. Less prompts, but reflect who you are, and you get to save certain parts and put it back into AI as a reminder. So try out this scorecard on your next post and get clever about getting feedback. Sometimes we are reluctant to actually go back over the work that we've created. In terms of video, a lot of people I know, they don't ever watch themselves back. And some people have never actually seen themselves talk back. But this is where all the real teachings come in. That's how you learn. You go back, you rewatch it, and then you learn from it. Life is evolving always. You see that in sports. How do sports teams progress without going back watching the previous game? Looking at how the other teams work and stuff. You go back, you see your performance, and then you learn from that. So this is the same when it comes to AI. And all I would ask is notice what comes up for you. Notice if there were changes that needed to be made. And what I would like from you is to notice what has come up. Notice the changes that you've now made after seeing the scorecard come through. And I'd encourage to please share any insights, any adjustments that you've made, any additions. Has this actually helped you? And this is where we're going to start moving forward, when we can all start sharing our own experiences using this and put forward the things that are working. Because eventually there'll just be this whole outlet in this space. It's going to make things so much easier. So again, thank you so much, people. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these videos because I'm still learning in the process. I'm watching quite a lot of other videos on YouTube. A lot of them are very salesy, very cheesy, and they say that you can do all these different things. That's not so true. And I've been looking at certain stuff, so I switch off on them. But if you have any suggestions of how I can improve these videos or different content regarding AI, put it forward, and I'll also have a look and see if we can get more created in the future posts. So thank you again, everyone. Please leave your comments below. Please remember to subscribe, and I will be back very, very soon.